This is the Biological Resource Training Program for the Ontario Regional Sports Complex project. Attendance of this training is a project requirement for every employee, including all temporary employees, contractors, and subcontractors. By attending this training today, you'll learn about the sensitive biological resources at the project site and the measures required by the project to protect them. Everyone needs to sign the attendance record, including your printed name, company, title, and signature. The attendance record will be provided as proof of compliance with the mitigation measures outlined in environmental documents. The project area is located west of Interstate I-15, south of State Route SR-60, and east of SR-83 in the city of Ontario, California. The project proposes construction of an approximately 199-acre sports complex with associated mixture of uses and an approximately 1.5-mile-long alignment for off-site improvements. The Ontario Regional Sports Complex will include a semi-professional minor league baseball stadium, retail and hospitality areas, a new City of Ontario recreation and aquatic center, and fields for sports such as baseball, soccer, and softball. Additionally, the project proposes off-site improvements for water and sewer lines, improvements to the existing Chino Avenue, and a new road construction to extend Vineyard Avenue at the west end. This map shows the project area. These boundaries will be clearly marked before the project activities start. No unauthorized work is allowed outside these limits. There are serious consequences for going outside of work limit boundaries. The main responsibilities of the E-Corp Consulting biological monitors are listed here. E-Corp biologists are working as part of the construction management team. The biological monitor's main responsibility is to protect all biological resources, both sensitive and non-sensitive, within and near the work area. In addition, they are responsible for ensuring compliance with all the project's environmental documents and ensure project compliance with biological, cultural, and paleontological minimization and avoidance measures. There are many governing agencies involved that need to be satisfied with the way we are conducting work. The biological monitor has the authority to temporarily stop work if they feel that any biological resource on site is at risk of being threatened or has already been compromised as a result of the project. Biological monitors conduct pre-construction surveys before and monitoring as required. But cultural monitors conduct artifact surveys and monitoring during ground disturbing activities. Paleontological monitors conduct fossil surveys and monitoring during ground disturbing activities. All of these biological monitors have been approved by CDFW for this project. The biological monitors have the authority to stop all work should the project be in non-compliance. Please note, the biological monitors are here to help, not hinder. It is our name and reputation on the line too, should the project not remain in compliance with these permits. With that said, it is crucial to communicate with your biological monitor regarding anything pertaining to the biological resources and your work schedule. Monitors are here to help, not hinder. We are not here to yell at you, prevent you from doing your job, or delay the work. We are a part of the work crews and are working for you so that you can get your job done. Please cooperate with the monitors and everyone will be satisfied with a job well done.
Here are some general biological measures required for this project. These are important measures for maintaining project compliance. Know your work limits before you start work. Work activities should stay within fenced, staked, or flagged work areas. Confirm your work activity does not need a biological monitor. If you happen to notice a bird nest or eggs on the ground, stay away and report it. Don't just assume the biologist knows that it's there. Pick up your trash and police others. This is everyone's job site. Even if it's not your trash, it can reflect poorly on the project. Trash receptacles should be removed on a daily interval, or at least once a week, to avoid attracting opportunistic predators, such as ravens, coyotes, and feral dogs. No work or entry allowed along Cucamonga Creek Flood Control Channel. Temporary fencing should be installed to prevent entry along the channel. No mud or other pollutants may enter or be placed where they may enter the channel. Holes or trenches more than 2 feet deep must be covered at the end of each working day by plywood or similar materials. If the trenches cannot be closed, one or more escape ramps constructed of earth and fill or wooden planks must be installed. Before the holes or trenches are filled, they should be inspected for trapped animals. The project will avoid attracting predators within 150 meters of any occupied burrow complex. Avoid staging large equipment like excavators or cranes near ESAs. Do not kill any wildlife. Find your biological monitor who has the ability and authority to remove or report any wildlife. Please maintain safe speeds for your safety and the safety of wildlife. Communicate with your monitor if wildlife are in your work area or needs to be removed. If any spills occur on site, it is important that the biological monitor is aware of it and is present for all cleanup operations for documenting and reporting purposes. Please notify the monitor if you plan on changing work area locations. At the end of the workday, any open holes or trenches will have an escape ramp at each end to allow trapped animals to escape. Escape ramps will be constructed of dirt fill, wood planking, or other materials. Escape ramps will be constructed at an angle no greater than 30 degrees. If you notice a trapped animal, halt activities and notify a biological monitor. The use of water shall be kept to a minimum throughout the project. Water should not be allowed to puddle anywhere on the project. Using erosion materials harmful to covered species, such as monofilament netting, will be avoided. Puddling of water is not allowed throughout the project. Any pipes, culverts, or similar structures greater than 11 centimeters will be inspected before the material is moved, buried, or capped. Notify the biological monitor of any burrows located within your work area. Burrows will be inspected by the biological monitor for cover species suitability. Do not kill any wildlife.
Sensitive biological resources associated with this project include burrowing owls, migratory and nesting birds and raptors, crotch bumblebees, and bats. On the following slides, photos and a description of each wildlife species are provided. Please note, there is habitat for each of these species on and adjacent to the project site. It is extremely important that you stay within the designated work areas to prevent further loss of habitat to these species. Failure to stay within designated work areas could result in fines and could cost the project more for mitigation-related fees and certainly cause project delays. General threats to these species include loss of habitat, development, rodent control or pesticides, and off-road vehicles.
The western burrowing owl has recently been accepted as a candidate species for state listing under the California Endangered Species Act. Unlike most owls, they are visible during the day. They are common in disturbed and agricultural areas where ground squirrels are present. They nest underground in burrows. Often they renovate California ground squirrel burrows. They are threatened by development, pesticides, introduced predators, among others. Burrowing owl have been documented within the project's area during pre-construction surveys and daily monitoring. Additionally, suitable burrowing owl habitat is present throughout the site, within the off-site improvement area and in active construction areas that may create protective cover or expose broken pipes, building foundations, or small mammal tunnels that can be utilized by an owl. A project-specific burrowing owl management plan, or the BOMP, has been developed, and the project is currently in consultation with California Department of Fish and Wildlife to obtain an incidental take permit to relocate the owls. The BOMP requires establishment of no disturbance buffers and protection in place of all active burrowing owl burrows throughout the year, including the breeding season, which is February 1st through August 31st of any given year, and the non-season, September 1st through January 31st. It also requires additional pre-construction surveys and monitoring for all phases of the project, and CDFW oversight of owl relocation after an incidental take permit has been received and prior to work being allowed in these areas. Any current and future burrowing owls found will require protection in place until an incidental take permit can be obtained. Burrowing owls feed on a variety of different food items, including small mammals such as moles and mice, insects like grasshoppers and beetles, and small lizards. Their habitat consists of abandoned ground squirrel burrows, and they have adapted to utilize pipes, concrete piles, and other refugia that may also support ground squirrel colonies. They face many threats, including development, ground squirrel control, and habitat disturbance.
Migratory and nesting birds are protected under both federal and state laws. The Migratory Bird Treaty Act is administered by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services. The Fish and Game Code is administered by the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, and it enforces the protection of non-game birds as well as their nests. Included here are pictures of bird nests that may be found on the project. Top left is a killdeer nest, top right is a hummingbird nest, bottom left is a barn swallow nest, bottom right is a house finch nest. Most birds will nest in the spring and summer, but some species like hummingbirds, barn owls, and eagles may nest during the winter. Birds can nest in shrubs, trees, houses, on utility poles, on parked construction equipment, under bridges, in grasslands, on open ground, and underground. The biological monitors will conduct pre-construction surveys or pre-clearance sweeps just prior to initial demolition and vegetation removal in each phase of the project. If an active nest is identified, an environmental sensitive area, or ESA, will be visibly staked around the nest using flagging or staking and protected in place. The biological monitor will document compliance with these no-work buffers and may need to increase buffers for certain activities if birds appear agitated and likely to abandon the nest. To be clear, a bird nest cannot be relocated. All biological resources that are to be protected in place will be visibly staked or flagged as an ESA. No foot traffic, vehicular traffic, or construction activities are allowed within ESA limits. Violations to ESAs that result in a take of a special status species could result in stop work orders to the entire project, monetary fines of up to $50,000, or jail time. The term to take is basically defined as removing, harming, or killing the protected species, and this can include indirect impacts that result in nest abandonment, as well as vegetation removal that results in exposure to predators. ESAs cannot be relocated and are typically seasonal or temporary, depending on the resource. Therefore, project activities may need to be redirected to other portions of the project while ESAs are still active. The project superintendent will be notified as soon as an ESA is deactivated and unrestricted work may resume in that area. The crotch bumblebee, Bombus crotchii, was petitioned for listing under the California ESA in October 2018, advanced to candidacy in June 2019 and September 2022. This species is associated with open grassland and scrub habitats and occurs primarily in California. Seasonal nests occur underground in abandoned small rodent burrows. Only next year's queen survives by overwintering in leaf litter along woody forest edges. Nest sites are small, only 50 to 400 individuals, and nests are chosen annually. Any crotch bumblebee nest found will require protection in place until it is no longer active and consultation with CDFW to acquire an incidental take permit. Bats roost in buildings, trees, and under bridges. Threats include habitat loss, direct disturbance to maternity colonies, and light pollution. Diets can vary and consist of insects, nectar, pollen, and fruit. Evidence of bats, guano, was detected in many of the abandoned dairy buildings, and night emergence surveys detected one special status bat species in the area. Trees were assessed and characterized as very low, moderate, or high quality habitat for bats. Trees assessed as moderate and high quality habitat will be protected in place. especially palm trees, during maternity season, April 1st to August 31st. A qualified bat biologist shall conduct a focused emergent surveys of the trees within 48 hours of scheduled work. If a maternity roost is located, whether solitary or colonial, that roost will remain undisturbed until after the maternity season or until a qualified biological monitor has determined that the roost is no longer active. Paleontological resources such as fossils are representatives of once living life forms that are considered non-renewable resources. Fossils can be millions of years old. If a fossil is encountered, any work within 50 feet must stop until paleontological monitor can secure the fossil. The paleontological monitor must be present when digging 5 to 10 feet or deeper. Cultural resources include both pre-contact and historic artifacts. These include accumulated remains of human activity ranging from 50 years ago to thousands of years ago. For example, old bottles, stone tools, shell beads, ceramics, and arrowheads. The cultural monitor will be present during grading and may temporarily stop work if artifacts are found. If human remains are uncovered, the cultural monitor will stop work. Do not disturb the human remains and keep the information confidential to prevent further disturbance. Several project features will be implemented to reduce impacts to sensitive resources, including biological, paleontological, and cultural monitoring. Pre-construction surveys. E-Corp conducted focused and pre-construction surveys for burrowing owls, bats, and nesting birds. Active nests will have ESAs set up around them. Your biological monitor will let you know about any buffers you need to be aware of and will remove the buffer when the ESA is no longer active. The project biologist will be readily available for the duration of construction to ensure project compliance. Sensitive species will be relocated by the biological monitor. Project limits will be clearly demarcated and dust control measures will be implemented to prevent negative impacts to sensitive species during dust control. This is the list of contacts you can reach out to if you have any follow-up questions or you encounter a sensitive resource during the course of your work. If you're unable to reach one person, feel free to reach out to another. Any of the people listed here should be able to address the issues or point you to someone who can. This concludes the Worker Environmental Awareness Training Program for the Ontario Regional Sports Complex Project. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you.